Hi everyone. Today I'm wanting to talk a little bit more about blending. You can see here I am using as a subject a fighting fish. Look at the different extreme color. We got red against blue. It's going to be hard, but look at her. This is a real fish here. Look at how it's sort of beautifully blended. The red is still there, the blue is still there, but it's not just blocks of color. And here you can see a little bit more. So I thought this fighting fish was a really good example. But it needn't be that. Also, let's have a look at like this ball. Can you see how the areas around the ball are shaded? Or this flower, the tips are lighter, and into the center it's darker. Because you may find this quite a lot in whatever work you do. Here is an example of some needle felting that I did that shows you a really nice example of shading. And in my last video where we looked at the crane and his headdress, this was shading too. We went from dark through to light with just straight stitches. So that's what I'm wanting to show you here. This will eventually be a kit. But you can see how we've taken a little bit of the red and we've gone into the blue. And we've taken some of the blue and gone out into the red. So already we're blending and we're, making it travel. Those colours travel through each other. So it's not just blocks of colour. And that's the idea, what I'm trying to create here. And also when you're appliquing, have a look at his little fin here to the left. I mean, you don't even need to applique around that triangle shape. You could just do stitches out from it. Same as what I'm doing here in the tail. I have a blue piece of fabric and a light blue further out. And I'm trying to bring some of the red in as well. But I just wanted it to be nicely shaded in. Just a touch of the red, and we take some of the blue that's already there and we're taking it out further into the light blue. So that's what I'm doing. And look here, I'm wanting to create a bit of a difference here. So this one's a pale aqua, so I've gotten a darker aqua and I'm going shading the bottom of that fin so that it's a little bit darker, the edge is a little bit darker, and then I'm blending it into the orangey red colour underneath, and a little bit of the orangey red colour was stitched up into the aqua. This is a great fun exercise. But like I said, you could do a flower or you could do a ball, or sometimes it's just an interesting thing to see how you can do it. And I like here with this fish, I loved the way that his fins just rippled and swayed with the water. They weren't rigid at all. So sometimes I'm doing wavy kind of curves into the lines rather than straight. And I'm never doing it in a straight line or anything. It's always random. Some will go further, some will be closer together. It's all about that randomness that makes it work. Here I'm blending that darker blue into the lighter area because I want it to just look like, darker in towards the body, like that flower was when we were looking at the petals and it was lighter on the outside, just like that. So the more I add, the better I think it looks because it starts to become one rather than all those separate pieces of colours. And let's face it, red and blue are not easy ones to try and blend, and that's why this is a perfect example of how you can do that. You're turning what are just ordinary blocks of colour in an applique into an actual painting by stitch. Look now where I'm putting a darker edge on that fin. So many things you can do. And yeah, I just think you just keep going. Already it's got a really great feeling to it. I'm really enjoying this fighting fish. So we're actually watching me designing a new kit again. This one isn't, well, it should be up there soon on my Etsy shop, but I just thought it's an interesting thing to try. And look at how his tail here. I have that that gauze underneath that last light blue piece, and I'm going out into it, just feathering the edges. There we go, right out into it. Some long stitches, some two smaller stitches. Yes, this can go on for quite a while. This is a lot of fun to just sit in front of the television, half watching the news and half doing this, or whatever you like. But it's very good to absorb yourself in, and it's quite a great experiment. Yeah, I think we're really getting there. And I found the more I added, the more interesting it became. I stuck with lighter colours out on the very edge. Maybe a pale blue or a grey or something like that. I've gotten a darker blue now because I'm wanting to create a bit of a bit more shading there. So it's more of the same, just layering it up. And we will speed through this a little bit, and then we'll have a look at some close-up pictures at the end so that we can really see how it worked. I mean, the before and after of this is really, you can really see how it helped. Remember the photo of the fish and how those colours flowed into each other? And it also adds texture and interest. I'm using a deep orange and a red. Those are my red colours. Now I'm using stranded cotton, but sometimes I use a single thread, sometimes I use two threads, and it looks great to have that those two different textures. So we're getting there. I'm adding a bit of blue into that red now. The blue acts like shading as well. It blends it into the body piece. And now I'm grabbing some light colour, like a white, or a light pale grey. But I just think that I could extend that light coloured edge of his fin out into that gauze that's there. And at the same time, like I did on the crane, I'm just doing some nice little French knots. It adds texture, and I just think it looks really good. So I'll be doing that, a little bit of that. I might use a different colour, a light colour though. You know, maybe something with a bit of blue would be nice. But what a lovely experiment. If you haven't done French knots before, it's bringing the needle up from underneath and then holding it out the way whilst you wrap it around your needle several times and back in, close to where you started. But if you did want to do a little stem and then a knot, you would just put the needle back in further away and then it would leave that little stem. We're making a very delicate edge to it, almost like a frill. But we also try to make sure that we go back into that blue, so we're blending the white into the blue and the blue out into the white, the same as we did with the red and the blue. So I just hope that you find this an interesting process and you might find ways to use it in your own embroidery or textile art. Or sometimes, you know, if you're doing a simple applique, perhaps it's just a simple flower and it has a dark color in the center and a light colored petal outside of it. Maybe sometimes you just want to add that little bit extra and blend that dark color out into the petal. You know, just add a color in between or use the darker color or something like that to just add in that little bit of definition, a little bit of shading. So I hope you find some way to use this and that you've enjoyed watching me playing with blending color. If you have, do press like and subscribe to my channel, and all my other links are below. Do have a go and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.